Had she gone off the path? "Kasey, I'm gonna get you, girl." Almost playful, like he was enjoying this. Like it was just a little game they were up to. Maybe to him it was. His object was to catch her, to never let her leave, to never let her speak to anyone again. Not now. She was suddenly sprawling, tripped on a root or a tangle of brush. It felt like she fell forever into a black hole. Kasey groped blindly as she plummeted, seeking any hold. When she felt the ground beneath her, it smashed every last puff of air from her lungs. She scrambled to get back to her feet, struggling to pull in a breath, succeeding only in a shrieking wheeze. "Kasey!" Not much more than a whisper now. He was right behind her. His silhouette was closing in, bleeding like ink, shape-shifting as it enclosed around her. She felt the sickness rise in her again, but there was no time for that. "Run!" Kasey got moving and kept moving. Even when the monster snagged at the back of her shirt, even when his hand closed around her shoulder, she dreamed she kept moving, kept surging into the stumbling, spinning forest. Toward a light at the far end of the branches and bramble, toward a new life, a lasting freedom. The muscles in her legs were still clenching, her arms twitching back and forth as if she had forward momentum. He put her head down on the ground, down on her back. His face, just enough light to see it. His face circulated like paint swirled in a can, colors and shapes blending clockwise. Then it stopped. It stabilized long enough for her to see him smile. "Oh, Kasey." And his hands closed around her throat. 1. Damage control. "How could you have done things differently?" No answer. "Reed, you just said you would have done things differently." "I did?" "Just a minute ago, you said, if you could do it over again." "What did you mean?" "Did you mean your whole life or just those couple of years during your deployment?" Reed came out of the darkness and chaos of the past. First, he focused on the therapist, really tried to see him. Then he looked at the office, the bookshelves with the self-help bestsellers, the 3 succulent plants lined up on the windowsill overlooking the big field beyond the barracks, the Chinese calendar on the wall, the kind you got for free with takeout. He said, "I read a Stephen King book when I was over there." The therapist drew a breath through his nose as if marshaling patience. "Which book?" "It was, Dreamcatcher." "What did you think?" "Yeah, I enjoyed it. But I'd be reading and my phone would keep ringing." When he didn't elaborate, the therapist prompted him. "Why was your phone ringing? For your job, you mean? You were a kind of troubleshooter in the Navy, is that right?" Reed studied a fingernail chewed to the nub. It was like a constant state of damage control. "That's a tense situation." The therapist was named Crane, like the TV sitcom guy from the 90s. Didn't look like the guy, though. His face was rounder, his hair grayer. He said, "So, can you talk a little bit about what you would have done differently? If you could go back, what would you change?" Reed felt the familiar contraction. It happened in his gut, but kind of everywhere, too, a tightening of the whole body. Probably adrenaline, because it angered him to talk about it. Why? Because if he talked about it, he might get emotional. It might hurt. Anger was a defense mechanism. See, maybe therapy was working after all. Crane said, "When you're talking about doing it over again, you're thinking about your family. Is that a fair guess? You're thinking about your daughter, about what happened around the time of your deployment. Would I be right about that?" Steady, Reed thought. Hold steady. "What's the insertion point?" he asked. "Sorry? What point am I starting over from? You said go back. Start over. From what point? When I first met with the recruiter or before that? When?" It helps to be literal. The more literal, the better. Relentless.